Hi everyone, my name's Scott. Welcome to Planes, Trains, Everything. If you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you know I've got a love affair with the Orient Express. It's the #1 train service in the world. I've actually seen the Orient Express in Paris. I've seen the Orient Express in Prague. I've had a beer on the platform at Istanbul's Sirkeci station where the Orient Express used to terminate. And I found a restaurant car in a park in Budapest. If you cover up your good eye and squint through your bad one, it could have been a carriage from the Orient Express. Although it definitely wasn't. The thing about the Orient Express is it's a very exclusive train journey. You need a very special income to pay for that very special occasion, and that kind of rules me out. The nearest I'm going to get to the Orient Express is here. The Orient Express Chinese takeaway at Bishop Briggs in Glasgow. There is, however, something very special I'd like to do. I wanted to do this back in 2019, now I have the opportunity. To do that, I need to go to Paris. I just hope the weather is better than it is here at Bishop Briggs. There's nothing as exhilarating as using public transport at rush hour in a large capital city. That was nuts. Over here, Gare de Lyon. Yeah, Gare de Lyon. The weather here is a little bit better than it was back at Bishop Briggs. For example, it's 29 degrees Celsius, not a cloud in the sky, but I'm not rubbing it in. Right, I'm going to get to my hotel, check in, unpack, then straight out again. I've got things to do, including explaining to you what this video is actually all about. That happens tomorrow. And here I am at my hotel. What I can guarantee is the fact that if you were travelling on the Simplon Orient Express, you would not have been staying in a hotel like this. It gives a fairly good write-up on TripAdvisor, and I'm just here for one night. It looks pretty dark from the outside. Let's just say it's got character. Right, what number am I? 29. I'm one floor up still. Aha. Yeah, there are no lifts in this hotel, but hey, it's not a problem. It's not the Ritz-Carlton, but then I didn't pay for the Ritz-Carlton. I paid for this place. It's literally around the corner, 30 seconds, and you're at Gare de Lyon. Let's do a very quick guided tour, then let's get outside. Okie dokie. This is, like I said, not the Ritz-Carlton, but it'll do for one night. I've got a TV up there. £69 approximately. It was €83, and that's including a city tax. So that's about right. Let's have a look at this bathroom in here. It's actually not bad. Looks pretty clean. There was a guy ahead of me in reception and he was asking, got any spare rooms? And he says, no, sorry, we have no rooms. And I thought, you don't arrive into Paris these days without something booked in advance. Especially when it's June, especially when it's like 7 o'clock at night. I used to do that in my younger days, backpacking days, but not anymore. Right, I'm going to organise. We have to get outside now. Oh, and I forgot to show you the view. Are you ready for this? Oh, this makes it worthwhile. I don't actually care about the view because, like I said, I'm only here for one night. I'll be leaving relatively early tomorrow morning, so I don't really care. What I am happy about is the fact that I don't have a street view, because I think it can get pretty noisy out there. Right, like I said, let's get outside. Straight in and then straight out. And you have to keep the key at reception. You can't take it with you. Yeah, that hotel looks like a bit of a dive from the outside, and to be honest, from the inside it's not that better. It's very dark and dismal, but the room will do the job. I did a quick recce of the bed, no little signs of wildlife, so I think it's going to be okay. I've been trying to find a nice cheap hotel in Paris for years, and I might have actually found one. I've seen Gare de Lyon busy before, but boy, this is nuts today. It still amazes me, a double-decker TGV. The Chinese might have the largest network in the world, but they don't have double-deckers. Yeah, so if you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you'll know I have an ongoing problem with Wi-Fi when I go to different countries. Here's a selection of some of the problems I've had over the last few months. You'll like these. Malaga. You arrive and you get an SMS, and it says, "Hey, welcome to France." And about 30 minutes later, I get a connection. Mind you, this is a very large name in the UK as well. It's one of the larger Wi-Fi providers. Another thing was, I was at Charleroi in Belgium, and I had to wait 35 minutes before I got a connection there as well. But they get better. In Switzerland I arrived, everything was going according to plan. You get the SMS, it tells you who your supplier is in Switzerland, and then you probably don't get anything. In fact, the last time I was there for about 5 nights, and I got nada. I had to rely on places like the free hotel Wi-Fi stations and international burger chains, if you know what I mean. They do actually send you an SMS with a little link saying, hey, if you're having any problems, just click on that link and follow the instructions. All very well, but you need Wi-Fi to access that. And when you do use it from your hotel or a station or a burger restaurant, all the settings are correct. So I don't know what the problem is. But the best one was recently Andorra. You'll like this one. Andorra. Not part of the European Union. It's not part of my European package. And so I had to pay a £10 supplement, £10 for Wi-Fi in Andorra. Worked perfectly. You get an SMS because you're about to exceed your 1 gigabyte allowance. And it says, hey, just a gentle reminder, you're about to exceed your 1 gigabyte allowance. If you do that, you're going to be charged, are you ready for this? £97 per gigabyte. That is £97. Not £9.7, £97. So you can guess what I didn't do. I did not exceed my 1 gigabyte allowance. But anyway, I got home and I thought, I really have to start thinking about an alternative to this company, because when you arrive, you need the security of that with you, because you rely on it so much. And also, you like to keep in touch with family and friends, let them know you've arrived safely. But at the moment, it's always a bit hit and miss. And I swear, 1 week after coming to that conclusion, Airolo got in touch with me. Airolo. And I thought, Airolo to the rescue, yes. Why do I always do these things on railroad platforms? By using Airolo, I don't have to rely on the free Wi-Fi here at Gare de Lyon. They cover 200 countries and regions and are trusted by over 20 million people around the world. This was a solution I've been looking forward to. I have a love-hate relationship with technology. I love it, it hates me. So anything like an eSIM with the letter E in front of it fills me with dread. But the downloading of Airolo's eSIM couldn't have been any easier. All you have to do firstly is ensure you have a compatible phone, download the Airolo app, select a data package, install the eSIM, activate the package, and you are ready to go. You may be wondering, what are the benefits of having an Airolo eSIM? I'm glad you asked. Firstly, there's no need to visit these little shops on arrival trying to find an eSIM to match your needs. you get to keep your own phone number, and you don't have to change any physical cards inside your phone. So all you need to do is download the Airolo app before you leave home, set it up, and when you touch down at your destination, you're ready to go. In fact, you may have noticed when I arrived at Charles de Gaulle Airport, I was waving my phone at you. I just checked to see if the Airolo eSIM had worked. Of course it had. For me, Airolo eSIMs are a game changer. So download the Airolo app today, use my code PTE, that stands for planes, trains, everything guys, and you'll get $3 off your first eSIM. I'll put a link in the description below, or you can just scan this really cool looking QR code. Oh, and I forgot to tell you about Andorra. Remember, the first gigabyte cost me £10, and they were telling me every additional gigabyte would cost £97. Well, I had a look at Airolo's rates for Andorra. $4.50 US per gigabyte, £3.35. That somehow beats 97 quid, doesn't it? So thank you Airolo for sponsoring this video, and a bigger thank you for giving me the reliability I need when I arrive in foreign countries. I'm off to find food, and I'm also off to check my emails now. It's 7:30 at night, and I haven't eaten since breakfast time, so I'm getting a little bit peckish. There is a pizza place I'm familiar with. Well, I tried it last time and I loved it. They also do beer, so I might go there, see if I can get in, because it's busy everywhere in Paris, I think. Back in my backpacking days, I developed very quickly a dislike of Paris. But as I've gotten older, I think I've mellowed a bit, and it's actually not too bad. As long as you don't have your expectations up too high, it's okay. Don't know about the people though, they're still a bit gruff at times, but there's that pizza place I was telling you about. The evening is yet young. I've had one left blonde, 6.6% here in France, 6% back in the UK. I might have a Peretti that's at 5%. It'll keep me going for another half hour. To be honest, service in this place is a bit glacial in speed. I've sort of sobered up by the time my second beer arrived. Just for the record, that second beer was purely to waste time. I usually just have the one, but it's either that or I go back to my hotel room, which is kind of dull really. So I thought I'd have a second beer. I wasn't going to have a second left because of the alcohol level, 6.6%. That is quite a lot. So I had a Moretti instead. Right, I'm on the hunt for a supermarket because I want to get something for the room tonight, and also some Haribo bananas. They're so hard to get. There's a supermarket in the station itself, and there's also one nearby next to the hotel. So I'm feeling lucky. And every time I come here to Gare de Lyon, there's construction going on. I wonder when they're going to actually finish this. Okie dokie, there's a Monop Deli in here, so let's see what they've got. Probably not much. As soon as I saw the size of the supermarket, I thought there's no chance they're going to have Haribo bananas there. But there's another supermarket down that way. Let's go. I don't know, the things I do for a bag of Haribo bananas, honestly. Okie dokie, I got what I think I needed to get for the room tonight. Let me tell you what's happening tomorrow. Back in 2019, I just completed the Portugal to Vietnam, longest rail journey in the world. And I thought, what could top that? And I thought nothing. But what I could do is try and follow the original route of the Simplon Orient Express. When I say the original route, I don't mean any of the high-speed lines which now apply, but the original tracks used back in 1919 or 1920. Was it possible? Just about, apart from 10 kilometers out of Trieste in Italy, up to the Slovenian border. That part had been closed due to a landslide, and as of today, 2025, it still hasn't been fixed. But I decided it couldn't be done because after COVID, so many parts of the journey were chopped and whatever, and now it's really quite difficult to follow the original tracks of the 1919 Simplon Orient Express. But one thing I did discover is a very nice restaurant down at Gare de Lyon, where the Simplon Orient Express used to leave from. And that's the plan tomorrow. I've been waiting 5 years for this. Very posh, upmarket breakfast. And if everything goes according to plan, I should be able to see the Orient Express come into the station at Gare de Austerlitz on the other side of the Seine at 1 p.m. What could possibly go wrong? Anyway, I'm going to get into my hotel and I'll see you in the morning. Good morning, everybody. Wow, that was a rough night. The bed's nice and comfortable, don't get me wrong, but the room is like an oven. I had the window open all night, not a breath of wind. I could hear the gentle whir of air conditioners outside. The room does come with a fan, but when you switch the fan on, it makes so much noise, it keeps you awake anyway. So it was a pretty rough night. Anyway, I'm going to have a shower, freshen up, and then I'm going to go out and have breakfast. Oh, that feels a lot better, although I know as soon as I go out I'm going to start sweating again, but hey, I need to show you something very interesting in the toilet. I have never seen a toilet like this before. There's a cistern. This is the La Tromba AR 2001, and with a name like that it must be pretty good. What you do is the user uses this lever and makes an informed decision as to how much water they need. How cool is that? And that's the AR 2001. Right, I'm going to get organised here, I'm going to get out, we have to get to Gare du Nord, and then we have to get down to Gare de Lyon. One good thing about a small room, it doesn't take you long to do a final check to make sure you have everything. Right, let's go. Oh, it feels so good to be out of that sauna. It's a nice little room, very functional, a good price as well, and a great location. But wow, the heat inside. I did try the fan and it does work very well, but it is a little bit noisy. Right, let's get into Gare du Nord. There's always something going on in this place. Well, that's the first time I've arrived at Gare de Lyon by RER, the regional trains. It's usually the metro I arrive on, and wow, it's an absolute rabbit warren down there. Finally found my way after a couple of wrong turns. Geez, oh. There's always some sort of construction going on at this station. It's been like this for years. Hopefully one day they can get it finished. In April 1919, the Simplon Orient Express started operating from here, Gare de Lyon. And from there you could go to such exotic places as Milan, Venice, Trieste, Zagreb, Belgrade, Sofia, Istanbul, and there's an onward connection on to Athens. That was the beginning of the glory days for the Orient Express. Where I'm going this morning for breakfast is currently called Le Train Bleu restaurant and bar. It was built in 1901 and it quickly attracted the movers and the shakers of society, high society at the time, artists, that kind of thing. This was the start of the glory days for the Orient Express. Do you know why the restaurant's called Le Train Bleu? Take a guess. What's it named after? If you said the Orient Express, you'd be wrong. Yeah, it was named that in 1963. It was called that as a tribute to the Paris Ventimiglia, a legendary train that used to operate from here down to the French Riviera and the Mediterranean coast. It just so happens that it looks like the Orient Express, nice and blue, and that's where we're going in now. Right, let's head inside. Some parts of the restaurant are actually historical monuments, like the Tunisian and Algerian lounges, as well as some of the passageways. It's apparently glorious in there. So where I'm going this morning isn't the restaurant itself. I'm going into the bar, which is next door. I'm going to be having one of their Le Train Bleu breakfasts at 34 euros. Usually that's more than my typical breakfast I can assure you, but it's a one-off occasion. I wanted to do this in 2019, didn't get a chance. 2020, COVID hit, and now in 2025, finally getting around to it. So let's do this. I've actually got a menu of the Le Train Bleu breakfast. I'll just put it right here for you. Now this is a very grand staircase. This definitely beats Burger King for breakfast, doesn't it? Well, that certainly beat a sausage and egg McMuffin at McDonald's, that's for sure. I could get used to that lifestyle. I could go all posh in this channel, but I won't. In actual fact, that breakfast went better than planned. I thought I was going to end up in the bar area and I'd have to walk into the restaurant to have a look around. As it turned out, I was seated in the restaurant area. I did have a sneaky look into the bar area and it was absolutely packed. Maybe that's why. But what a place. That was 34 euros. I am actually quite full. I don't know if I'd do it every time I was in Paris, but if you've got the funds, definitely do it as a one-off. An amazing place. I did try and stretch that breakfast out. I stretched it out as much as I could, but it was a delicious breakfast. It was fantastic. But I've now got 3 hours to kill before the Venice Simplon Orient Express is due to arrive at Gare Austerlitz on the other side of the Seine River. 3 hours. I think I might hang around here most of the time because there's more to do, more to see. Austerlitz is actually a smaller station. I don't even have room for a coffee. I don't know what to do. I'm still trying to get my head around these double-decker TGVs. I don't know of any other country that has double-decker high-speed trains. The seats inside Gare de Lyon are incredibly hard, and after about 40 minutes incredibly painful as well. I was going to walk down to Austerlitz now, but it's starting to rain. It was forecast around about 11 in the morning, so I might just hang around here for a while, and in the next 30-40 minutes head over to Austerlitz, get a coffee, set up base camp, and wait for the Venice Simplon Orient Express to arrive. Does this clock tower look familiar to you? There's Austerlitz just there. That'll take about 5 minutes max. And here we are at Gare Austerlitz. It's a fine old building, this one, but like lots of buildings in Paris, they do have their share of eyesores as well. Look at that thing. This is another place in Paris that always seems to have construction going on. It never seems to end. Okie dokie, good news and bad news. The good news is you can walk onto the platforms, there are no gates at the start, which is good. The bad news is the Venice Simplon Orient Express doesn't appear on the arrivals board at 1300. That's got me worried. But then that was from the, is it Belmond who operate the train? That's from their website, so you'd imagine it to be correct. I wonder. So I was starting to panic a little bit. I couldn't understand why the Venice Simplon Orient Express wasn't appearing on the arrivals board. Because of the construction work here, there's not really an information office as such. But I spoke to 2 employees. They couldn't have been any more helpful. They said yes, it does arrive about 20 minutes before arrival. You see the employees in their immaculate uniforms, and that will give you a clue as to what platform the train's coming into. So I've got about an hour to kill. I might go for another coffee. So having decided on a coffee, I now have another decision to make. I could either have it in the construction site known as Gare de Austerlitz, or I could have it in the relative serenity of anywhere else, and that's what I'm going to do. Because I'm in Paris, I can't be too far away from a coffee shop. Well, I found a McDonald's. I know, that doesn't count. Well, I've also found the metro station, which is a good thing because there's a direct line from here over to Gare du Nord and then the RER onto Charles de Gaulle. So that's good, I've sussed that part out. Because it is a construction site over there, as you can hear. Right, cafe. I just sat down and I was given an espresso. That's interesting. Not sure how I'm going to spread this out for half an hour, but we'll try. Oh yeah. Good news and bad news. The good news is the Venice Simplon Orient Express is going to be arriving on that platform there, and you can tell because all the luggage is kind of lined up, ready for boarding. The bad news is that platform is blocked. Unless you have a valid ticket or a valid reason for getting on the platform, you're going to get nowhere fast. So I'm going to go up to the end of this platform. Hopefully I'll get a shot of it as it's coming into the station. I wasn't expecting that problem. I was stopped by a railway employee asking where was I going, and I had to explain, where I'm going. He said it was very strange just for someone heading up the platform when this train isn't actually going anywhere. So I'm just watching a train coming in. This could actually be it. It could be arriving 35 minutes early. Yep, that's it coming in, honestly. I'm guessing if the guy back there hadn't stopped me, I would have caught the train coming in. Oh well. They did make it very clear I must not cross the tracks. Do not cross the tracks, otherwise I'll be breaking the law.
Breaking the law, breaking the law.
I've seen the Orient Express staff take bags off the cars before, and it's done with the greatest amount of respect. None of this drop kicking the bag and hoping it lands in the right general area. No, they really look after their luggage here. Also, I've noticed that as soon as the red carpet's put out, they wipe the actual bars so people don't get dirty hands when they're coming down. Who knows, one day, maybe one day, if you keep watching my videos and buying stuff from the merch store, one day. Probably not, no. Well, unless something spectacular happens at the end of this platform, for example, I'm allowed onto the other platforms to get a closer look at the train, that could be the end of the Venice Simplon Orient Express part of this video. It's not quite over yet because I still have to get home. I'm not going to bore you with the Easyjet flight from Charles de Gaulle back to Glasgow, but I still have to get to Charles de Gaulle. So stay with me and we'll make sure nothing goes pear-shaped. Unfortunately, the entrance to the platform is guarded tighter than Fort Knox. No chance I can get onto that platform. I am struggling to get my head around the ticketing situation for public transport in Paris. This is the second time I've bought one of these. It had about 30 euros worth of value on it. It worked on the way in to Paris, but do you think it'll work on the way out? No. And you should have seen the carnage there, because they have like 3 ticket machines and about 50 people all jostling trying to get tickets. So I may not be the only person having problems. Anyway, I'm going to go back to Gare de Lyon because it worked there, so it should work on the way back. Okay, maybe the ticket doesn't work on the metro, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it works on RER lines only. Maybe that's what it is. I really am struggling to understand how this ticketing system works. This one here has 7 euros, and that is, well, it should have been from Gare de Lyon to Gare du Nord. That one there is one with 15 or 13 euros, that's from Gare du Nord back to Charles de Gaulle. I tapped in with that one, tapped out with that one, and it worked. Right, let's get through security, get airside, and I'm going to have a beer. It's too early for my flight to show. However, there is an earlier Glasgow flight with Easyjet and there's an Edinburgh flight with Easyjet, both leaving from 2D. So I reckon that's where mine will be leaving from in about 4 hours. Well, I had a foot swab on the way out and a hand swab on the way back. Squeaky clean, as you'd expect from me. Right, might go to duty free and then might go and have a little drink, because those RER trains that I caught were absolute sweat boxes and I was sweating buckets. So I need to hydrate, and I know alcohol isn't a good way of hydrating, but it does taste good. So let's find a bar, let's find the duty free. Cheers, everyone. Well, I'm here at the departure gates and my Easyjet flight back to Glasgow is on time. I really struggled today in Paris, and I was thinking about this over my beer, and I thought it's down to tiredness. I really had a bad night's sleep last night, and I think that was having an effect. It was hot, it was humid, but usually I can handle that, but today I was struggling. So anyway, thanks very much for coming along. I'm glad we saw a little bit of the Orient Express experience and a little bit of its history. I'll see you next time.